Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Dovey, and today, I've got an amazing guest for you by the name of Nick Storms. He is the progenitor of the iconic brand Hpnotiq. I remember when I was running clubs 20 years ago back in Los Angeles that one of our bartenders came to us and said, hey, there's a new libation that we need to get on the roster, and it's going to kill it for the ladies. And our ladies' nights always had 1 or 2 bottles on every section. It was amazing product. Nick Storms, Hpnotiq is the brand. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, man. So from the outside looking in, give us the rundown on Nick Storms and how you came to be in the liquor business.
I'm gonna tell you, Jerry, I would almost fell on my lap in one way because I was a promoter as well in New York City at the time. And I was doing a lot of events in New York. I was doing like Monday Night Football. I was doing, we have this thing called at Justin's. We had Industry Tuesdays at Justin, which was Puffy's restaurant. So we used to do these Industry Tuesdays, which was really popping. And I met a gentleman that night and said he wanted to introduce me to somebody else that was coming out with a liquor. And I was like, okay, no problem. I definitely love to meet him. And I met 2 days after that. It was him and his brother, a gentleman by the name of Raphael Yakoby, and his brother Solomon. And I met these 2 guys. It was funny because they were like, do you know how to get this brand into 2 rappers' hands? We want to really into 2 rappers' hands. I'm like, okay, like who? And they were like, we want to get it into Puff Daddy and Nelly at the time. And I was like, okay, well, I'm doing promotions at Puff's restaurant. I don't know, maybe I could try it, but, let's see what happens. But let me just learn about the brand a little bit more. And they was like, all right, no problem. That week, a friend of mine that worked at Sony was doing a party for Mariah Carey, and they needed about 4 or 5 cases. So I brought it up to the party. And I think, Jerry, that was the day that I noticed that this brand has something under it. I mean, everybody was, had blue in their cup. Everybody. I'm talking about artists, dancers, music execs, everybody. And I remember just going up to somebody one day, during the party, I was like, what are you drinking? He was like, I don't know. I think it's like some blue Alizé. And remember, Alizé at the time was the competitor. That was the key drink at that time. And, with the Thug Passion was their biggest drink. Their Red Passion was the biggest. But Hpnotiq was standing on its own. And I was like, wow, this, if everybody's loving this might be something. So I remember going back to Raphael and saying, listen, we need to make this happen. And I signed on with me and Raphael, and we put it in the back of our trunk. And that's the funny part about this whole thing, Jerry. It's like we started in New York. We had an importer out of Long Island, but we had to go from door to door, restaurant to restaurant, club to club in the back of the trunk. And that's how we started.
Man, it reminds me of some of the artists talking about selling their CDs out of the trunk. And really making the grind, being in the trenches like that. Talk about that experience.
And that's one of the things I always love to talk about, because everybody always sees the hype, like, oh, it did this, but nobody knew the grind. Like I'm gonna be honest, Jerry, I went broke for 8 months. Yeah, like I got a black book that'll show you 41 restaurant lounges that said no. And I'm telling you, and that was a hard thing to swallow. Like every day you got to get up, you got to put your bottles in your bag, and you got to go, and you got to, excuse me, can I show you this new product? And I remember hearing no so many times. I just thought it was a common word.
Right.
And one day I got my biggest break was at this one liquor store. I walked in and the guy was like, I like your presentation. I don't know if this is going to sell, but listen, I'm going to take a case. But if it don't sell over this weekend, you're going to have to come back and get this case out of here. And that one day I had to go back home and figure out a way that I was going to get this case out of that liquor store. So I had to call like my cousins from all over the neighborhood and told them, listen, go in this place and buy a bottle.
Right.
So ended up, so it's a backstory to it, because not only did all my cousins buy a bottle, but not only did that liquor store buy 1 case, he ended up buying 3 cases over the weekend and sold out. Which was crazy, but it was a day-to-day grind. It was like from club to club, store to store, and it was a grind. It was not an easy thing.
Man, salute to you for your intestinal fortitude, because it really is a test when you're pushing a new product, and you know it's scary because you don't know how people are going to accept it. But the thing is, and I'm a pretty hardcore bourbon guy. So when I had a taste of it, I was like, oh shit, this is fire. I kind of like this. And the ladies gonna love it. And so you know how guys do. If the girls are gonna like it, they're gonna buy it.
That's right. That's right. So that was the big marketing plan. Was it when I started? I was like, I need to keep it sexy for the ladies, but then I had to figure out how I could make it a little bit harder for the men. So that Incredible Hulk was the key to really transitioning, because the ladies was drinking Hpnotiq straight on the rock, so they put like a little Malibu pineapple in it. That was great for them. But for the men, you know, we had to, you know, switch it up, and we had to do the Hulk for them. And that was like kind of like the biggest like hit for the brand in doing that.
Yeah, the beginning of the Incredible Hulk was actually one of the saving graces for my club. We were heavy into Hpnotiq at that point. We started off, of course, with your competitor Alizé, but Hpnotiq took over, and then we had the male exotic nights, and so we were 1,000 strong women, and I'm like 1 or 2 bottles at least in almost every section. And then, but on our mainstream days, so we've got this inventory of Hpnotiq, and we got to figure out a way to sell it to the guys. So the Incredible Hulk actually made the difference, because that luminescent color just lends itself to the female side of the house. But you want somebody to get knocked on their butt or to give it respect for the hit. Incredible Hulk did that. So congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that was actually like the first of a lineup of incredible drinks, the incredible strain of drinks. Talk to me about the development of the line of the Incredibles.
I think that the line was, you know, I had to go from each. It was a way that I had to look at all markets and figure out how I was gonna like penetrate all markets, right? So even my Latino brothers and sisters, right? You know, my Latin side of me, and like I used to have a Latin Hpnotiq drink that everybody loved, right? So and that was actually, I used to make a margarita. Like it was like a blue margarita with Hpnotiq, because I knew like on that side that's what they were drinking, right? Man was Incredible Hulk. The bougie guys and the brunching ladies, I was doing bubbles in blue. So I was doing Hpnotiq with a little champagne on it. So I was taking care of that market, you know. And then for the mainstream general market, for the martini drinkers, because Sex and the City was big at the time, and all of remember everything was about the Cosmo. Then I had to come out, and then this was our biggest drink. Nobody ever talked about this. The Bluefin in New York City, the W Hotel had just opened, and I had one shot with them, and I gave them this one drink, and it was Hpnotiq Grey Goose with white cranberry from Spray. And they took a fish, a jelly Swedish fish, and would put it on the bottom of that drink. That drink was the #1. It was called the Bluefin. It was the #1 drink in New York City at that time. And I'm talking about, we ran that drink for years at that place. And the mainstream drink for the ladies, you know, that side, we killed it.
Okay, all right. Like I said, you've done an amazing job, and spread from coast to coast. Now, breaking into the West Coast market could not have possibly been easy. You really had to depend on the bartenders out there because the reps weren't making an impact. How did you transition from an East Coast brand to being a national brand?
I'm gonna tell you, I think, one, it was 2 things. One was the ambassador. I developed an ambassador. Like I didn't want one marketing team to take this thing and you'll be promoting Captain Morgan today, you'll be promoting Hpnotiq the next day, you'll be promoting Belvedere the next day. I didn't want that. I wanted an ambassador to live and breathe the brand in the market. And I had a really good guy named Mark Williams. Scott Mark was everywhere in LA. And he put it in everybody's hands, you know. But I think the second biggest thing was the videos. I think us, Captain, you know, our getting our biggest break. You know, our funniest thing is that our first video that we shot was in LA, was the Trade It All with Fabulous, Jagged Edge, and Diddy. And I remember being on the set on that, and even listening to the director talk about how this blue bottle is gonna do some numbers out here. And I think the videos, you know, killed it, because once we started with that video, then we went to the, you know, then we got good sound bites from Ludacris to Missy Elliot on down. And then I remember Ice Cube's group at the time. They one of the guys had mentioned it in their song Out There, and I just knew that something was gonna pop out there in LA. You know, song mentions was always the biggest thing for us, right? Between song mentions and videos was the killer. I mean, you're talking about, I mean, being in an article with Vibe magazine, we was in XXL, and King was great, but ain't nothing like being on BET, you know, VH1, MTV, you know, Rap City, and this bottle is all over the videos. Like that was like our key marketing hit.
Okay, yeah, well, it worked, and here we are 20 years later. So Hpnotiq kicked off in 2001, and here we are 20 years later. You just had a great celebration out there in New York. Talk to me about the celebration and how did it feel?
It felt amazing. You know, it's so crazy because it was actually done. We didn't have like 2 or 3 months to plan this. It was like almost planned in like, you know, 2 weeks. You know, I went to a friend of mine, Dara, which has Dara Media. She actually put all of that together. She had a great team. I drove her crazy, which is the craziest thing, of course. But you know, she pulled it through. The whole team came through and did an amazing job. And I had a great time. I had like some celebrity friends come. But you know, what hurt too was that we did it at an early time where I got a call like from Busta Rhymes, and Busta's gonna tell me, Nick, I'm on my way, and we were already done. Actually, a lot of people thought it was a late party. So a lot of people thought we were gonna continue to keep going late, but you know, we ended up having to cut it short. But it was a great time. It was good to see all the DJs that came that rocked with me since back then, the promoters that were some of my lead promoters, club owners, the guy who actually owned Jimmy's Bronx Cafe, which was like my #1 club in New York. Sin City, my guy Gus came. He was like the #2 accountant, and he used to do major numbers with Hpnotiq. I mean, all these owners came, which was like, was crazy. We used to have this thing about the Hpnotiq girls. Like that was one thing that we were known for, like Team Hpnotiq girls. You know, so a lot of the old, not I want to say old, but a lot of the girls from back then actually came out, which was great. The girl who actually put all that together was like on my right-hand side. She was part of the marketing too, Elaine Hamilton. She was a part of the movement too. She had all her friends come. It was like really almost a family reunion, if I want to say, you know, more importantly. But it was good. It was good to see everybody. They did an amazing wall. Darren did an amazing wall in the back where I was able to look at all these old pictures and remember the times when we opened up 4040 in Atlantic City. We had pictures with A-Rod, Jay-Z, the Puff Daddy MTV music party that we had in Miami. It was a big night for Hpnotiq, and you see all the nostalgic pictures of all the rappers back then. It was amazing.
Okay, well, swept the nation 20 years. Here we are, and it's going to have 20 more at least.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I love it. I actually like the taste. I'm gonna have to get some more. We gotta make sure we send you a gift. We gotta make sure we send you a nice gift box. Oh man, I love it. My 20th anniversary is this year, actually. So, and I met my wife in Los Angeles at one of my events. Actually, where Hpnotiq was flowing, and we've been together for 20 years. Come November, actually this month. So. It's crazy that I get to celebrate that along with you celebrating Hpnotiq.
That's it. Yeah, and then listen, if I'm ever out in LA, we gotta have a drink together, brother.
Brother, I'm in Kansas City now. It's a great place to meet yourself.
Only great place to be right now is Kansas City because of the Chiefs. Stop it.
I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm a Rams fan.
Oh!
I'm a Rams fan, man. I'm a Rams fan. I'm an Astros fan, so I have been disappointed all year so far. You know, the Rams are doing all right. They're 7-1, so I can't really cry and complain. But the Astros, man, they really let me down. I'm glad I'm not a gambler, man. I would have lost my shirt. But anyway, I just want to say thank you. You know what I mean, for the time that you're spending with us. Thank you for your leadership within the entertainment industry, and kind of laid out a blueprint for liquor brands that would come behind Hpnotiq. You know what I mean? Do say Ace of Spades and things like that have followed your formula. And, you know, so that puts you right there at the top of the field as far as creators on that line.
Yeah, so. And I just want to end with this too, Jay. Like, remember, because I took that plan and I went to Ciroc. So I was at Ciroc for 13 years. So you remember that plan from over there, all we did was reinvent it and took it to a whole nother level when you got with Mr. Puff Daddy, and we killed it for them 10 years. That, you know, and, you know, that was the blueprint. That was like, we just laid it out for them. And what we did with Ciroc, between the Ciroc boys, the Ciroc DJs, the Ciroc ambassadors, everything that we did from them really like just changed the game. So I'm almost like, you know, it feels good for me when I can look back at Hpnotiq, but then I can look back at the success where Ciroc is at now. So it's a good feeling.
Man. So is that one of the most satisfying things for you, is to see those that came behind Hpnotiq using your platform, your plan?
The original blueprint.
Blueprint.
That makes me, that's most satisfying. But the biggest thing is watching those that came up with me, under me, in jobs within the wine and spirits business. And I was able to, like, you know, feed so many families. That I hired so many people, and people just still would email me and say, Nick, I'm over here at this company, but I learned so much, you know, coming from up under you. And, you know, just those accomplishments. I mean, the girl that came the other night, she's a big girl now at LVMH, that came to the Hpnotiq party. And she came straight up to me and was like, if it wasn't for you, like, I would never be where I'm at today, Nick. That right there makes me feel good.
What an incredible legacy, man. You know, people owe you from from all over the place, you know,
right?
Who've employed their skills, learned their skill sets from you. So it's incredible. I love to be able to present people like yourself to those that are looking to be entrepreneurs, those that are looking to be innovators, and say, look, you don't have to create something completely from scratch. There are path cutters like Nick Storms who have laid it out for you. Just follow the dang on formula and you'll be all right. So being able to present people from behind the scenes that are responsible for these major brands is very satisfying to me. So I appreciate it. Ma'am, you've been all over the country. You've been all over the world. What has been the funniest WTF moment thus far in your career that you can talk about without putting anybody on blast?
The funniest?
Yeah. Something just had you cracking up and it was like, what the?
I'll tell you right now. I think it was the MTV party that I did back then with Hpnotiq. And now we were just starting out as like a 2004, 2005, Puff Daddy was doing this party. And the big sponsor was Nike, and the other big sponsor was Xbox. And Microsoft was trying to break into the urban market. And this lady was running around while I'm setting up too, and she's running around and putting her Xbox stuff up, and they got an Xbox lounge, and they're doing all this craziness, right? And you know, I know they paid a pretty big penny for that, you know, that party that day. They paid a little bit of a penny that day, but we getting all of this in everything. Party starts, and Puff Daddy comes in, Usher, everybody, they all coming in, and I had kept the Hpnotiq bottles under the couch because I knew where Puff was sitting. So as soon as Puff was coming in and the couch was like right next to me, I pulled the bottles out of the couch and had one with diamonds already waiting for him. He came in, he grabbed it, and like the lights went on. He's, yo, and he's talking on the mic with the Hpnotiq bottle in his hand. He goes, and he ready? Oh, wait a minute. Let's everybody get a bottle. Yo, I want to send everybody a bottle of this Hpnotiq. The lady, he gave us more shots. The lady comes to me at the end of the night, true story, and goes, now, I'm going to tell you right now, we paid so much money, we got one shout out. How was you able to take over this whole party? I just want to know. I have no idea, but maybe we should have just had an Xbox on stage, but I don't know. But it was good because it was good. It was good to meet. And just so you know, Jerry, you know I got me an Xbox that weekend.
That's right.
But it was crazy.
They should have hired you. It probably would have been a lot better. They did.
Right.
You know what I mean? All right. Is there anything that you wanted to cover that I may have neglected? Is there something special coming up? Hpnotiq for 2022?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think it's you know, I got some great response to what we did in New York. Everybody's happy at the company, so I think that they want to try to like go into next year, because we did so much stuff with Hpnotiq going into like 2022. So we're probably going to continue doing some like, some good parties coming up. I'll probably be hosting a few of them, which is good in different markets, because they're talking about going to Houston and a couple of other markets with us. So, I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about just my journey in just the wine and spirits business. I started my own consulting company. So I just been, working with a lot of brands right now. I took on Snoop's brand, which is Indigo.
Right.
Got my own wine, which is Marcel Rosé. So I got a lot of things coming down the pipeline, so I'm excited for going into 2022.
All right. Well, I hope that you'll come back and talk to us again as you can talk more and expand. The Indigo is definitely hitting. It's killing on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I just got a promo piece for that. So
yeah.
Congratulations is all I can say. Wishing you much continued success, my man.
Oh, sorry. I missed it. Say it again.
I was just saying I'm wishing you much continued success.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate this and everything.
All right, thanks. All right, everybody, the Hype Magazine live sessions, Nick Storms, Hpnotiq is the brand. If you haven't tried it, you're out of the loop and you're missing out on something great. So it's a great brand, it's a great story, and we're glad to have been able to tell a part of it. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Peace. And we're out.